A one and a two and a chick-a-boom a chick.
Hey, Remodelers, before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our friends at Builder Funnel. I've personally known Spencer and his team for over a decade. We're getting older. And they are the marketing agency that helps remodelers generate more leads, book more projects, and grow revenue. We're talking real results. 4.09 million generated for a remodeler in San Antonio, 4.7 million for a custom builder in Houston, and 13.8 million for a builder in New York. These aren't maybes. These are hard dollar wins. If you're tired of relying on the inconsistency of referrals and want a system that brings in predictable, high quality leads, Builder Funnel can help. Well, welcome everybody. It's the Remodelers on the Rise show with your host, Kyle Hunt. I have my longtime friend and colleague, Spencer Powell with Builder Funnel, CEO of Builder Funnel with me today. Spencer, say hello.
Hello.
And share some wisdom.
Oh, wisdom. Wow, I was not ready for that. Just keep moving forward.
That is some good wisdom. That is some good wisdom. I was poking around at my work today, and then this approach has been working for me really, really well. If you're watching the video version, you see it. Just write down in front of you the thing you need to get done next, and then focus on that thing. And then when you get it done, scribble it off, and then think about the next priority. Do you do that same? Look at you. You got a fancy system like that too?
I got a little sticky note here. I have like a handful of things where I'm like, if you only do these things from now until the end of the year, it'll make all the difference, and all the other little stuff won't matter. So I've got like 2.5 or 1.5 checked off of my
like
4.
Those are the big rocks there. So your wisdom, yeah, just keep moving forward. I think that is some great wisdom. I'll share some wisdom that also came to my mind when I asked you that off the cuff question. Is we've known each other for a long time, and I think when you think about success in business, for the business owners listening to this, the folks that you surround yourself is a big indicator of success. For example, Spencer and I we've networked and we've chatted and we've learned from each other over the years. We were both part of a mastermind group of coaches and consultants for a good number of years. We're not in that group. He left us a few years back, and then without him in there, I'm like, I don't even like this group anymore. I have to leave now too. It wasn't that, but there's times and seasons for it. But I look back on that and go, the mastermind groups and peer groups that I've been a part of has a huge impact on my business. And it's just finding like-minded folks to surround yourself with, whether they're fellow business owners, whether they're your team members, is a huge aspect of enjoying your work and being successful in your work. So keep looking for those folks who can push you, who can inspire you, who can encourage you, who could provide some accountability. Because Spencer, you've been that for me over the years. So appreciate that.
Yeah, well, likewise. And yeah, I think sometimes you just, being an entrepreneur, business owner, you have those really up seasons and you have those really down seasons. And like every time I've gone through a down season and then you kind of get through it, you look back and you're like, I'm glad I didn't quit, so it's just like, just keep chipping away. It's not always this like perfect up and to the right. And so sometimes you just need to remind yourself, like, just don't quit, keep grinding it out.
I don't think it's ever up and to the right. I love that little meme or that little graphic. I don't know what you call it, but it was like, it shows a trajectory from down at the bottom left further to the upper right, but it shows the reality of like, oh, we're moving up and down. We're moving up and down. Frankly, look at the S&P 500 and go to the 10-year view. That's indicative of a lot of us. And then you zoom in for the 1-year view and you're like, well, crap, what happened? 3 months in, there was a huge dive. Oh, and then it bounced back. That's what a lot of our business is like. But you keep doing wise things, implementing wise things, be consistent with it, and good things will happen, such as wise things when it comes to your marketing and your online SEO and web presence and all of that fun stuff. By golly, that was a transition to talk about what we wanted to talk about today.
It was so seamless. We had to spotlight it. That transition was so sharp. So smooth.
No, that's my lack of humility that made me spotlight it. Like, hey, everybody, look at me. Did you see how good I am at
I'm a
this?
professional
I'm a
podcaster.
professional
Watch me
podcaster.
transition.
Yes, and most people would just do it, but then some people would be like, wasn't that good? Wasn't that
See,
good?
I was going to actually
Tell me I'm pretty.
spotlight it for you, which would have been better proof if someone else said it, but you beat me
Yeah.
to the punch.
Yeah, I need to work on that. I'm only 350 episodes in. Once I get 500 or 600 like you, then I'll know to do that. But a little bit of conversation around how much can your remodeling business afford to spend on marketing? Maybe it's not a percent of revenue. Maybe it's something else. How much can we afford to spend to land projects, to get new leads? This is an area, you love this area. You
I
love
love it.
talking about
I'm
this.
so excited for today. Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's
excited.
just one of your favorite topics. Why is it one of your favorite topics to dig into?
A couple reasons. One, math. I like math. I like numbers.
Okay.
Numbers give a lot of clarity to a lot of things. They help with decision making. I'm a logical person, I think, for the most part. I mean, we all make those, emotional, dumb decisions too. I make plenty of those, but also I think it's one of the biggest unlocks I had in my business, and so I'm just really, it was like what I knew before that and what I knew after that, and once I knew that after that, I was like, oh, and so now I just get excited to share that in hopes that it's also a big unlock for other people. It's like once you see it, I feel like you can't unsee it. And so, yeah, like your question there of just what can we afford to spend on marketing, as we were talking about it before recording, it's kind of the, it flips it on its head, right? It's like, wait, why are we talking about spending the most on marketing, or what's the most I can spend? So anyway,
so that's why you love talking about it. I will share one thing. Even as business owners, some people, like I majored in finance. I love numbers. Spencer, you're a numbers person. Some of it comes a little bit more naturally to people where they're a numbers person. And for some business owners or marketers even listening to this, the number side isn't as natural. I do want to emphasize, if you are a business owner, you don't have to fall madly in love with numbers, but you do need to get friendly with it. You do need to desire to get better at it and to dig into that. Side note, my wife and I set up two of our friends on a blind date.
Oh, fun!
They had a good date so far, and I saw the lady. Her name's Anna, and I saw her the next day, and I said, "All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being pitiful, 10 being amazing, how did it go?" And her response was, I hate numbers. I can't. Give me 1,000 words. I'd rather do the words than numbers. She could not even eke out a number. She's not a numbers person. But luckily for you listening to it, you're talking to two numbersy people. So
see, I thought you were going to say you were bringing this up because of numbers, but in a different context. I thought you were going to say because we had them exchange phone numbers, like you're going on a date, and that's where
they exchanged phone numbers. They're going to be great. I think it's going to work out really well. I checked in with Sarah yesterday, my wife, and I said, "Have you talked to either one of them?" And she goes, "Yeah, here's an update for you. They were texting yesterday, and their whole texting back and forth was revolving around the usefulness and how mandatory 5-gallon orange buckets from Home Depot are." And I thought,
made in heaven right there.
I thought that's kind of cute / kind of weird / yeah, that sounds like the two of them. They're going to nerd out and pontificate about silly little things. They're going to fall madly in love. We'll see, folks. Time will tell. But
we'll
back to
for another update, maybe 6 months from now.
Oh, I will have a hard time not giving an update, because I think for some reason this same topic came up on a podcast I recorded. Cassie's listening to this going, "Kyle, you've recorded 2 podcasts and you've mentioned it twice." So, but it was about the numbers. What's the most you can afford to spend to land projects and get leads? That's an interesting thing as a remodeler. What's the most you can afford to spend? Because it is not a badge of honor to say, "Hey, I spend very, very little on marketing my business." So talk to us about this. What's the most you can afford to spend? How do you approach this? And maybe how can remodelers look at this?
Yeah, so we'll do some math. We'll try to keep it pretty high level today.
Okay.
But I have a question first for you, Kyle, which is, you work with a lot of remodeling business owners. I'm sure sometimes you catch them, they're losing money. Sometimes they're about break even. Sometimes they're profitable, but not where they want to be. What percentage, if you were to just ballpark, of people you come in contact with in your community, prospects you talk to, just anyone, what percentage are break even or above?
I would say 70%, but break even. Yeah.
Yeah,
70%.
roughly, ballpark. Yeah. So I think that's an interesting place to start the conversation is, let's say you are breaking even, and let's say you're a typical remodeler that gets most of your business from word of mouth and referral. Let's say you're doing 1.5, couple million, somewhere in there, maybe $1 million. And you're getting that from pretty much zero marketing. And then there's someone like me that comes in and is like, you need to spend on marketing, and then you'll look at industry benchmarks and averages and statistics, and depending on what you find, you'll probably see that you should spend 1% of revenue on marketing, 3%, 5%, kind of ballpark in that range.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're doing $1 million, and you're like, well, cool, I'm going to do 2%, because that's a lot more than I'm doing now. I'm doing nothing now. And so that's 20 grand. 2% of your $1 million is 20 grand.
Yep.
20 grand is really not going to move the needle much for you. Sure, you might be able to get some out of that. But I think if you kind of go from the reverse, which is like, what's the most I could spend and have this still make sense for my business? You would look at it a little bit differently. For context, the guys that get to like 20 million, they're spending 8 to 12% of their revenue on marketing. There's a good chance that they didn't get there by starting to spend 1 to 2%. And then once they got big, they're like, now I can spend a bigger percentage.
Fair.
You spend a bigger percentage, and then that's why they are big, is because they invest into marketing. And marketing is how you grow, marketing and sales.
That's a good takeaway as well. Marketing and sales is how you grow. You're at 1 million, you're wanting to get to 5 million in the future. Marketing and sales is how you grow. I think that's a good thing to emphasize.
Yeah. And you should look at it as an investment. And I guess maybe before we get to the numbers, like just talking about marketing and sales as an investment, like you're investing into your business. You're saying, I am going to allocate money or time and resources into growth, and I expect a return for that investment. And you're going to add expenses into your overhead, and the goal is that you will produce more gross margin than that overhead. And so it's just like if you invest, 100 grand into the stock market, and you might expect, hey, I'm going to get a return for that. I might get 10%, I think is what they say on average.
Mm-hmm.
So you might get 10 grand back out of that 100 grand. Our business is much more volatile, but then like the S&P 500, the average of the whole country, but we have a lot more control. And so because of that, we want to get higher returns. But that's generally we're looking at it and going, okay, I'm going to invest into sales and marketing, and I expect a return for that.
Yeah. My wife did something cute last week, and she's a musician, so she's not much of a business gal. And we were talking to somebody, and she said, well, what was the ROI on that? And I kind of did a double take, and she kind of I was behind her, and she kind of turned around and she just kind of nodded. And I said, do you even know what that stands for? She goes, return on investment. And I'm like, wow.
Nailed it.
Wow, woman.
What was the ROI? Yeah.
I cannot remember the context. I was so blown away by how attractive that was in the moment. I'll just say it like that. Yeah. Like I was just so taken aback of like, that is the most gorgeous thing that woman's ever said. And then she turned around, she was smiling. I was just, I don't even know what the context was. I can't even remember.
ROI.
Because sometimes you can, yeah. Yes, hot topic. HOTT, hot topic. Stay focused here, people. So ROI, the marketing on marketing and sales, it's just kind of changing that mindset is what you were kind of getting at there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then, okay, we go, okay, we're going to invest into sales and marketing. What should we expect for our return? And I think the next thing that peels back is, well, we have to know what a customer is worth to us. What is it worth to our business? So $1 million remodeler, Kyle, what's an average project size for that guy?
We're going to throw out $50,000, even though that might be a little high for our $1 million remodeler, but I think that's a good number to use.
Okay, so $50,000, and what is your average $1 million remodeler with a $50,000 average project size? What's a typical gross margin they're achieving?
We're gonna go 30%.
30%. Okay, so we're gonna take $50,000, which is what.
What's exciting about this, Spencer, is that we didn't even rehearse this. We're just doing these numbers on the fly, which is kind of
I mean, I do have my little calculator here, so I don't mess up the numbers. But
kind of exciting.
But yes, I'm taking numbers from you. I don't know what you're going to give me, but so 50,000 average project size. So hey, cool. This is maybe a small kitchen or large bathroom or something like that. But 30% gross margin is the number that we want to figure out. What is our gross margin on our average project size? So if you take 0.3 or 30% times 50,000, you're going to get $15,000.
Yep.
That's what this customer is worth to your business, because the other 35,000 is materials and labor. You have to spend that money to complete the project. And so the 15,000 is then what you have left to operate your business and run your business. So that is what it's worth to you. And so if we go, okay, so we're going to invest into our business to get something back, we know that on average, every project we get back is worth 15,000. So then this is kind of the number that we can start to look at and go, okay, how much of this are we willing to invest to get 15,000?
Let's pause so far. You're doing excellent at just making this super clear, but even some takeaways so far. Okay, I'm hearing these numbers. Go calculate your average job size. Do it for 2023, do it for 2024, and do it so far for 2025. And the number of jobs that you have closed, revenue divided by the number of jobs, it's going to spit out your average job size. You're going to learn a lot just from that.
And Kyle, that was a good note. You took total revenue divided by the number of jobs you did. Boom, that's your average job size.
Yeah, in one of our peer group Zooms yesterday, one of the guys said, hey, can everybody put in the chat your average job size? And a couple people, like, boom, they put it in there right away. And I gave them a few extra minutes because I could see they were kind of thinking and calculating. I think for a lot of remodelers, you're thinking you do more projects in a given year than you actually do. It feels like you did 75 projects and you really only did 32. And then you look at the average job size and it really pops out at you. And then when you factor in, okay, what's my average, what's my gross profit margin over the course of the year? Okay, so that's how much each of those are. And you were also hinting at the remodelers who, are kind of doing the $1 million and not investing a lot. That's kind of, okay, you've been in business for 10 years and you're getting some referrals, and just naturally through the normal cause of just doing a nice job in business, you're going to be able to, pretty rely on those. If you're wanting to grow, that means we're really going to have to invest in marketing and sales.
100%. Yeah. So we're back to our 15,000 now. So 50,000 average job size, 30% gross margin. Cool. A customer's worth 15 grand to us. So you can use whatever number you want, but we're going to say, like, hey, the most we maybe would want to spend is like a 3-to-1 ratio, meaning like, hey, I'm going to invest into sales and marketing, and then I would want 3 times that back. So if we're kind of working our way backwards here, we have 15,000. If you want a 3-to-1 ratio, divide it by 3, and we're going to get $5,000. That's maybe the most we would want to spend all in to acquire that customer. That means we put 5,000 in and we get 15 back, which means we net 10. That's a good trade, right? That's like 300% return. That S&P 500 example, you put 100 grand in, that'd be like getting 300 grand back at the end, which we know isn't going to happen unless you just like pick the right stock or something like that. So, so that ratio right there starts to unlock what we call like, what is your ratio of lifetime value of a customer, which is what is a customer worth to you, 15 grand in this scenario, and then cost to acquire a customer, which is, hey, I'm investing into sales and marketing and I land customers. So what is my cost? And in this case, we're saying, hey, we could spend up to $5,000.
Got it. How do you like that 3-to-1 ratio? Do you think that's aggressive? Do you think that's like, I mean, in a perfect world, that's amazing. What have you found there?
I think it's okay. And I think it's, I like using that as the kind of the bottom. And you probably won't be there right at the beginning. If you're new to building a marketing engine, you won't see that right away. It'll probably be worse. But if you start seeing 3, 4, 5, 6, 8-to-1, like you have this little money making machine where you put $1 in, you get $8 back. You put $1 in, you get $5 back. And so that's the engine of your business, is what does a customer cost you to bring in and what is it worth? And the bigger that ratio, like the more confidently and aggressively you can just keep pouring it into that machine. There are other considerations which we can get to later if we want to, but it's like, when do you get that money back? Which is going to depend on sales cycle length, how long the project takes, and stuff like that. But generally, just looking at these two numbers, what does it cost you to bring a customer in? What is it worth? And the bigger the discrepancy, the better engine you have. Yeah, basically, is it like I've got this old beat up pickup truck, or I'm sitting in a Lamborghini or something?
I kind of I had mentioned just wanting to make sure we're not moving too fast in this, because we are talking about numbers, and I think you're moving us through this at a really nice pace. And most remodelers listening to this, if they are wanting to grow, I think are pausing this and going, I can't do any of this unless I know what my average job size is, and I can't do any of this unless I know what my gross profit margin is. And then I can say, man, if I could generate a 3-to-1 ratio, as business owners, we quickly look at that and go, oh, I feel like I would do that day in and day out, and every day and two times on Sunday, as the saying goes. The other thing you're talking about here is the marketing engine. If you can build a marketing engine that can make that happen, ooh, you've got some power here. If you may, before I scooch back on a couple other things, just unpack a little bit about what components are in this engine. Right. So whether it be web presence, whether it be SEO, talk to me about the engine just for a minute.
Yeah. So we look at our marketing and our approach through a framework, and we use attract, convert, nurture, measure. And so if you're sitting there looking at your website and your brand and your company, the first thing you need to do is get more people to you and knowing of you, knowing about you. And so generally everything all flows through the website, whether it's I saw your truck and a sign, or I saw that you're sponsoring a little league team, or I did a Google search or an AI search, or I'm on social media. They pretty much all funnel through the website today. That's where people go to learn more about you. So we look at the first step is like, how do I gain awareness and attract people to my brand and my website? So underneath that, there's a whole bunch of things that we can get into if you want. But then
just hit me with a few of them.
Okay, so you got SEO, content marketing, thinking like project spotlight pages, blog posts. You've got paid ads, typically Google ads, Meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram. You also have social media channels that can drive traffic, and then you've got just like your offline marketing that can drive traffic back to your website. So those would be a handful of tactics that would get people to the site.
Spencer, CEO of builderfunnel.com. Do you know anybody who helps people remodelers in particular, gain awareness to attract people?
Well, I have heard that the guys over at builderfunnel.com do that. Yes.
Okay. Oh, see what I did there. You see, earlier I made that beautiful transition. There, what I did was say I promoted Spencer's wares and offers and services. Just very sweetly snuck that in for those of you keeping
It was
track at
so
home.
smooth that nobody even noticed it. Yeah.
Go to builderfunnel.com, folks. But I think that's very helpful. Like the marketing engine, I love where you're going with this. So I want to go through this attract, convert, nurture, measure. Obviously, the attract part is
I literally have the
huge.
whole day blocked off. If you want to record for 4 hours, we'll just keep going. So.
No, we're not going to do that. Cassie and I were actually going to meet at noon today. I figure we're going to be done about 11:45, and then I switched our noon to 12:30 so that I had time to eat lunch.
Oh, smart. Well, you got to eat lunch.
Yes. So
Okay.
we're gonna attract, convert, nurture, measure. I want you to just unpack that a little bit because it's very clear. And then I want to kind of transition into some of the tracking of marketing and sales. But that I do want to emphasize that, like the attract part, it's a combination of a lot of things. It's your entire marketing, yes, strategy, but also all these tactics. Yes, the offline marketing. We want great branding. We want yard signs. We want our trucks to be lettered, etc. And then that online component of SEO and content and paid ads is just a huge part of this. And a lot of remodelers do just fine with attracting the number of clients that they have this year through the basic stuff and through referrals from those. And if you're wanting to turn that up and grow, you really have to lean into some of these more frankly, more expensive options. It does not cost a lot for me to generate referrals. It does not cost a lot for me to get the yard signs going. It's an investment to do SEO proper, to do content marketing and spotlights and blog posts, etc., let alone the paid ads. Just a quick break here to spotlight our friends at Builder Funnel, the agency that's proven over and over they know how to generate serious revenue for remodelers. And when I say revenue, I mean real numbers you can measure. 6.3 million for a remodeler in Atlanta, 1.2 million for a remodeler in Salt Lake City, even 746,000 for a deck builder in Jacksonville. And that's just a handful. The truth is, most marketing agencies talk about impressions and clicks. Builder Funnel talks about projects sold and revenue added. They've built a system that takes the guesswork out of marketing so you know your investment is working. If you're serious about growth and want your marketing to finally perform at the level your craftsmanship does, Builder Funnel is the partner you want. So if you're ready for a marketing system that actually helps grow your business, head over to builderfunnel.com/ROTR to learn more. Builderfunnel.com/ROTR.
Yeah, and
Cool.
I think for most businesses, at least most small businesses, like our biggest problem is just that not enough people know about us, even though we exist, and so that attract piece is really all about getting more of the right people to you. But once you start to do that and you've got people coming to your website and they're kind of checking you out, we move to that next phase, which is convert. And it's about 4% of the market at any given time, or what we call active buyers. So they're actively looking for a remodeling company to help them with a project. That's great. They hit your website, they're going to hit contact us, schedule a consultation, they'll pick up the phone and call the number on your site. Easy, right? Assuming we got them there, which is the attract piece. But once they're there, you got that 4%. The 96% of people that hit your site are researching. They're browsing, they're thinking around, they're, a month out, 6 months out, etc. We also need something for them. So when we think about convert, you have people that are researching and people that are ready. That's it. There's 2 stages. They're either researching or they're ready, and we need to be able to convert both of those types of people on our website.
Good. I'm not saying as you are in business longer, you're smarter than you were 5 years ago, but the clarity at which you are sharing and teaching today, I'm impressed. I love that. It's just so clear. I love what we're doing. So like convert. 4% are active buyers. That's just been a thing that's been studied time and time again. And they're either researching or they're ready. And yes, we want to do things on our website to make sure we're converting the people that are ready and effective there. But talk about this 96%. It probably kind of moves over into the nurture phase of things, I would imagine.
You got it. Yep, we're moving through the pillars. So
Yeah.
yeah, so okay, contact us for the people that are ready. Cool. The researchers, we need to give them something of value so that we can capture their information and stay in touch. Because if they are going to be ready in 3 months, we want to be able to start that conversation and be a part of that thinking and researching process. And so
Yep.
we've used a cost guide for many, many years. It's one of our top, well, it is our top performing campaign. But we basically call them, lead magnets, premium content, but like something of value we can give to a researcher that would help them in their research process, but also let us trade some information. And so they fill out a form, name, email, maybe a phone number. Hey, download our cost guide to get a sense of what your project might cost in our local area, in these neighborhoods. Cool. I'll fill out my name and an email for that. Or, hey, we're hosting a webinar in 2 weeks. It's on this topic, which is what is design build, and why it's a superior remodeling process. Cool. I want to register for that. I'll fill out a form. And so the key principle here is to think about what is something that I know my prospect is trying to uncover that I can teach, educate, give to them free value in exchange for value for me, which is the name and an email. And we will move them into nurture. But that's essentially how we convert, is
Got
we
it.
capture a lead. That's the goal. Is I want to know who's a little more serious than just like a click and a bounce from my website. Like they're
Got it.
poking around, they saw, oh, this looks interesting. Yeah, I'll fill out this form.
Okay. And then tell us about the nurture.
Cool. So now we've got this person, they're researching. And most of you are like, great, I don't care about this person. I just want somebody to call me today and say, let's talk about a project. But this is where big money is. This is where big money is in the follow-up and the staying with these people that are researching. Because again, that's 96% of people. They will become the 4% next month, the month after that. The easiest way to nurture someone is just continue to provide value through email. And this is one of the cheapest pillars, which is nurture, which is cool. Now each month I capture 20 new people through my cost guide. So then 6 months go by and I've got dozens and dozens of people on my list. And each week or every other week, I'm sending them a quick little email that then links them to something helpful. It could be my process page or a video explaining design build. It could be, some current design trends. It could be more details on cost.
Could be a project spotlight.
Spotlight. Yep. Exactly. We want to say like, hey, I know you're researching this, so I'm going to pepper you with information. I always just think like, hey, if you're sending them something that is helpful and valuable, then they're less likely to unsubscribe. If you're always like, book a call, they'll probably just unsubscribe. I love the format of just, hey, check out this project spotlight. We just wrapped up this amazing kitchen in XYZ neighborhood. Thought you might like to check it out. Click here, boom. PS, if you ever want to chat about your project, book a meeting here, boom, link. That way you're always like value first, but don't forget you can talk to us if you want to do your project.
Yep.
Very simple. It'll take you 5 to 10 minutes if you just want to go with that very simple plain text style. Do it every 2 weeks and you'll start to build that nurture phase up.
Love it. And then we move into measure, which I think we wanted to unpack this a little bit more of just tracking and measuring our marketing and sales. So tell me, would you say that remodelers on average are really good at tracking and measuring their marketing and sales results?
I wish, but yeah, I think you knew the answer when you.
I knew that was a leading. For those of you keeping, that was a leading question.
Yeah, I think it's actually one of the biggest gaps. I mean, almost everybody that comes to us, they don't have their measure dialed in. And when I think dialed in, sure, you could track a million different things, but at the very least, I want to see when we attract and people come into the website and we convert them into a lead, where did they come from specifically? Not just website or, yeah, I got them on the phone and they said they Googled me. Was that a paid ad? Was that an organic? Which page did they come in, and land on? Was it social media? Was it something else? Like, we need to know the specific channel. It's not good enough to be like website or Google, because normally when I see that, people have like a little Excel sheet and they're like, yeah, I asked and they came from Google. It was like, well, that's what they said, but also was that a paid ad or organic? And that's very different. Like if you're running paid ads and you're doing SEO and you can't break that out, you'll never know if you should increase your ads or increase your SEO or both or neither or fix them. So yeah, you got to be able to just get lead and customer by source. If you have that, you're like 80% there and you can make phenomenal decisions based on that.
Yeah. And marketing and tracking marketing sometimes isn't super, super clean. It's like, yes, they did search our name and they found us through SEO, and I can see that. And you know, in good marketing, somebody at work may have mentioned them over the years. They drive by your showroom and they see that. They saw a yard sign 3 months ago. So like your name is already popping in there, but there usually will be a specific source that they use to find you. So a lot of times it can be clean like that. So if I'm a remodeler listening to this, what would be kind of the approach I would take to do a better job of tracking that? What kind of comes to your mind for that?
Yeah, I mean, software is going to answer it. We use HubSpot, and anyone that signs up with us, we'll just get them set up on HubSpot. But there's also dozens of other software tools that can do that for you. You basically just it'll have cookie tracking, which means like, hey, Kyle visits my site. I just drop a little cookie on him. He browses around. And then as soon as you fill out a form, it matches that activity, which was anonymous to, oh, Kyle Hunt. Great. Now I know it was Kyle that came from my Google ad. And that's basically what it's doing. And so you just need the software. You install it on your website. It connects with your forms on your website. And then you've got it. If you want to take it to the next level, you can also make that same system your CRM. So when you close a deal, you can tie that revenue back. You can also do that manually. If you're just like, I just need a quick, easy way, you just need the software in place to track what lead source they're coming from. Because then at the end of the month, you can go, oh, I closed these 4 projects. I'm then going to go back into that system and see where those leads came from. And then you can tie the revenue in manually.
Bingo. Yeah. Bingo. Okay. I think we're giving people some really good next steps. Now, if they want to streamline this and make it even easier, they could maybe reach out to Builder Funnel.
It's an option.
What is your first step in your process anyway?
Good question. You would just head over to builderfunnel.com. You can find a meeting link there, and you will connect on a call with Ricky, and Ricky will talk to you and ask you about your goal.
Spencer, I want to talk to you. I've listened to you so long on these podcasts. You're gonna Ricky?
I know Ricky's better than me.
There we go. There we go. Interesting to take the if I could, I want to take what we've been talking about and apply it even to our own businesses. Cool. Bailey and I were doing some strategic planning for 2026 for Remodelers on the Rise last Friday. Good job.
Look at you getting that going in Q3.
Thank you.
Holy cow.
Thank you.
That's another takeaway. Start planning next year earlier.
Actually, I created a piece of content and I said, Bailey, smile. And I said, do you want to see the picture? And she goes, no, just post it. I'm like, all right, fine. And my content was of like, in 2022, we made a strategic plan and then quickly forgot about it. In 2023, and that was started in February of the year, and I kind of went through each year we have gotten better to that. And it is an encouragement to everybody listening, like set aside some time to think what happened this year, what worked, what didn't. And, what is the plan? What does success look like December 31st, 2026? And get really clear with that. So, as I look at my business, I've been at this for 18 years and I've worked pretty diligently to build an audience through advertising and marketing that does not cost a lot for us. Frankly, if you looked at Remodelers on the Rise marketing budget over the years, the biggest thing that we've spent dollar-wise is our booth and our presence at Job Trek Connect the last 2 years. Like we spent, I have the budget, but let's say we spent $10,000. Huh?
Hold on, sir.
What?
Uh-oh. Are we going to talk about all-in cost to acquire a customer? Because you need to factor in your time and what percentage of your time and any employee's time.
I know. That's kind of where I need to go. Yeah. See, I was wanting to do it really clear of going, actually we spent $12,675 last year. Okay. And, I look at it and I go, okay. And then I look at, hey, we just generated a lead. Where'd that lead come from? They listen to the podcast. Well, we hardly spend any dollars on the podcast. Where did this lead come from? Oh, they joined Remodelers community and they've been nurtured in there for a number of years. They've also been on our email list for a number of years. So that is fair. You did stop me there pretty well. So yes, I do need to add in my time and everybody's time to this calculation, don't I?
And so when I talk to remodelers too, the cost to acquire a customer isn't just marketing, it's also sales. So any sales commissions paid. So if you are the owner selling projects, you have marketing costs, but you also have your time. And if you spend half your time selling, take your salary, chop it in half, and throw it in that bucket with all the marketing costs as well. And so for you, it probably would be some percentage of your time that you spend promoting, right? You're doing podcasts, you have the community, you're doing that. Any of your team's time that's also doing the community, organizing
editing
content,
podcasts,
editing
publishing
content.
podcasts,
You just have dollars in the salary bucket versus external, what we normally think of as like ads and trade shows and like hard costs. But salaries are real costs too that are happening. So you just ballpark, hey, I spend this much time, I'm going to add that in, total that up, and then divide it by the number of customers you acquired, and that'll give you your.
We got some work to do on that. But when we looked at our 2026, what we're doing right now, we anticipate being able to hit our goals for new clients or a new peer group starting up. Just based on what we're doing now. And Bailey and I were talking about it's interesting. If we wanted to kind of amplify this and speed this up faster, we would need to start looking into meta ads. We would probably want to look at Google AdWords. We probably want to look at attending more trade shows. We probably want to look at going to IBS. And so it's interesting as a business owner, when you're clear with the speed at which you want to grow, when you're clear with your average cost to acquire a client and your average value of a client, and you go, look, best case scenario, we add 20% to our business next year. You can do the math and say, all right, how aggressive should we or do we need to get, or can we get, like you say, and how much can I spend? So part of how much we invest in marketing advertising is predicated on our growth plans. And on your side, on the builder funnel side, I think the way you've approached it and your investment, yes, dollar wise and or personnel wise, you've probably had a little different approach, which has allowed you to grow maybe at a steeper rate than my business. Is that fair?
I think so. Yeah. And we probably have different goals too. And we're trying to accomplish different things. But yeah, I mean, we have been steadily growing. We hit the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies back-to-back years, which I'm really excited about because it's been a long time of like trying to grow fast.
Wait, are you allowed to announce that? They have rules around the timing of that. Okay.
It's public. Yeah. That was August. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're excited about that. But it really did shift, like you said, and back to why I'm excited about this topic. Like once I figured out this engine, this ratio, right, of what a customer's worth and what it costs you, it gives you confidence to then make the investment. And I think that's usually like some people are probably sitting there and they're like, I've got a little bit of cash in the bank. I've got some cash flow, like I'm positive cash flow in my business. But it's scary to then go, okay, I'm going to commit $4,000 to $10,000 a month in marketing to try to get to the next level. But if you know what it costs you and you know what you get back, like I was going to ask you, like, let's get into a specific, like you said, you spent your biggest hard dollars on job tread, and then you obviously spend in certain other time areas with content. And you said, well, we probably got to look at meta ads and Google ads. I would actually encourage you first, before you look at that, to look at each of your channels that you currently do and see if you can break them down by channel. Oh, we did job tread, it costs X, we got Y customers. What was our engine just within that channel? What about the community? What about the podcast? If you can just do more of one of the things you're already doing, it's actually less risky because it's already proven itself. Whereas if you're like, we're going to get into meta ads could work for you. Great. They work for most businesses, but you're going to go through this learning curve of how do meta ads work for my business? And you're going to burn some money first figuring it out. So your path of least resistance is, can I do more of something that already works? If you're doing nothing, sure, you're going to have to do something new and get into something. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to slide that in there as like,
Yeah,
if
that
you're
is
doing
good.
more. And that's,
I will.
we looked at that for Google ads and we were like, oh, we're spending $2,000 a month on Google ads, and the engine within that channel is really good. And then we moved it to 5 and then 10 and 15. I think we spend 25 grand a month across digital ads now, because we like the engine, that ratio.
Yep. Or as Sarah Hunt would say, the ROI.
The ROI. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fancy.
It's good. So I thought that would be interesting. I will have to show you. I do have a lovely little spreadsheet that's got number of qualified leads, number of signed clients, closing
Let's
percentage
break it
by lead
down.
source,
Yeah.
first year revenue generated by lead source, marketing dollars spent by lead source, cost per lead, cost per signed client. There's a lot of depth that you can go in this. Our goal today was to kind of simplify it and get
Yes.
people thinking through their average jobs. But there's also, and Cassie, if you can put a link to this in the show notes, if you link to the webinar earlier in the year, Spencer and I did a webinar on this topic where we did get even a little nerdier on the financials metrics and whatnot. So that would be also, if this is kind of wetting your whistle going, oh, I want to hear more about this, there was a webinar done a little earlier this year that you can dig in further. So measure, track. Excellent. Spencer, what I would love to do to kind of close us out here is I challenged you. I texted you, I emailed you earlier in the week and said, hey, I love the idea of talking about these topics. And we went through it. 5P, proper preparation prevents poor performance, folks. Remember that. But I also said, hey, let's get some quick kind of things that are working, some wins, if you will. And I'm trying not to sneeze right now. I think I
Hang on.
back.
You got it.
No, I got
Hold it together.
That whole trick of like taking your tongue and putting it out the roof of your mouth thing, it seems to work.
I thought that was for when you get like a brain freeze when you're eating ice cream.
I think it can work for both.
It just solves everything. Yeah.
It just worked there when I went, and it worked. So I held it off. I thought I was going to hit the mute, but I didn't.
New every day. I'll have to try that.
If you learn nothing else, now you learn something new today, folks. But I said, give us some kind of wins. You're out there working, Builder Funnel's working with a group of wonderful remodelers around the fruited plains. What is working out there for remodelers here in the fall of 2025? Comes to mind.
Just generally what's working today, or
some wins or some like, man, this area is just something that I'm just seeing really producing a good ROI that just makes good sense. However you want to take it.
Yeah, I think more broadly today, you really just going back to that framework, you don't want to be missing components of that. Even if you're not doing all the attract things and all the, convert, all the nurture, but you need to have a through line, because you could spin up some paid ads, you could be rocking on your SEO, but then people get to the site, and if you're missing the 96%, like, you're just burning opportunity there that's going to be future pipeline. And then if you're not nurturing, which this is actually a big gap that we see, is like, people are like, oh yeah, I have 2,000 names in my database. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, how often do you email? And I'm like, I don't know. It's been years. Oh my gosh. The good news is that's a quick win I have for you, which is no matter if you have 20 people on your list, Ricky, who again, I said, better than me. You want to talk to Ricky. He was talking to a guy down in Florida and went through our sales process, and they got to the end of the call, and the guy said, I have 20 names on my list. And Ricky said, just go email them individually, all 20. And we gave him a little script to use, and I'll share the email. And he booked 3 meetings out of those 20. And so if you're sitting there going, man, I really could use some more opportunity right now, I could really use some, projects in the door right away. Go to your email database. So past customers, past leads, existing leads in the day, like, what is that universe? And so there's a simple script. I don't know, Kyle, if you want to drop in the show notes, I can too, and I can send it to you. But hey, Kyle, I'm reaching out because for the last few years, we've helped transform dozens of homes and serve amazing people like yourself. However, this year, I'm actively looking to serve at a higher level, transform even more homes and lives. I currently have X openings for larger scale renovations or kitchens or whatever it is. Make sure your X is true. I only have 5 openings in design, 3 openings, whatever it is. The last line is, do you know of anyone I should get connected with? This email has generated hundreds of thousands, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of thousands of dollars for multiple clients, just a simple email, because it basically opens the door to somebody to say like, yes, you should get connected with me. Or if they actually do know someone, then they can pass the email along or refer you. And if you have a list of 300 people, 500 people, we have somebody that had a 5,000 list and they hadn't hardly ever emailed them. I'm going, holy smokes, you have a great opportunity. So that would be a quick win, is tapping into your database, because that is going to be your warmest audience. They're the most familiar with you.
Yep.
And if you want an immediate opportunity, spinning up an ad campaign is still going to be slower and more costly than that.
I like the phrasing you used of a through line, meaning we've talked today of attract, convert, nurture, measure. And I think it'd be a great exercise for remodelers listening to this to just write those 4 things on your whiteboard, write those 4 things or type them up, and just underneath each, write some of the things you're currently doing. Write some of the things that you heard Spencer share underneath each. And I think for a lot of remodelers listening, you'll go, wow, there isn't a through line, because we're doing some things to attract. Not, there's a lot more we could be doing. We are kind of haphazard with our convert. I just heard of 3 good ideas there. And, the nurture, we did project for that person 2 years ago. They haven't heard from us at all. All those people that had reached out to us, but we never actually set up an appointment with, those kind of fallen through the cracks. So there's lots, and then the measure side. So that taking your marketing plan and putting it under attract, convert, nurture, measure could make a lot of sense there. And that through line, make sure we've got something going in each of those areas.
Yeah, and it makes it easier to kind of figure out where the problems are too, because let's say you're sitting there and you go, I do have attract, convert, nurture, measure, and I'm not getting enough leads. Then, okay, cool. Then we just need more attract to push through, and then we'll convert and nurture the rest. Or maybe our conversion is poor. So, okay, cool. Let me shore that up first, see if I can just get more conversions from my existing attract, what's currently happening. But it gives you kind of a more, more of a methodology for breaking down like what's wrong in the system.
I'm looking at your video behind you, and you got the nice flowers back there, nice flowers in that vase.
Thank you. Yeah.
Was that something that you picked out and designed?
That would be my wife. She's got the aesthetic touch. I do not. Yeah.
Looks beautiful back there.
Thank you.
Back there. And then there's a book over there. What's that book?
Oh, this old thing?
This old thing. The Remodeler Marketing Blueprint, written by none other than Spencer Powell.
We might even talk about a lot of this attract, convert, nurture, measure stuff in here, actually. Yeah.
I'm sure you do, because this is the tried and true stuff. The stuff that you're talking about here. Now the tactics, the approach are going to be different, but this is the same stuff in 2030, in 2040, in 2045. Like, these are tried and true marketing things that have always been the case. Spencer, we're going to close out by me challenging you to do something that probably you don't naturally do, and we're cut from the same cloth here. If I were to say, Spencer, there's options that people have out there. I want you to just dead on say, this is why you should hire us to help you with this. This is why. This, like, just straight up right hook, Gary V right hook style of like, this is why we're great. Tell the people.
I appreciate that. I think we're great because we go for the end in mind, which is this engine we've been talking about. Like, the whole point of doing all of this stuff isn't to just like sell some monthly SEO services. The whole point is to drive revenue, and we track it and we measure against it. And so I think what that makes us, where that makes us better is you could look at something as simple as like cost per lead. I'm going to use a very specific example, but a lot of people obsess over like, how can I get my cost per lead down, right? Like, I want $50 leads or $25 leads. But if you know what you can spend to acquire a customer, you might have $5,000 leads, $1,000 leads. But if it costs you $4,000 to acquire that $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, what a customer is worth to you, and you like that ratio, then cool, let's do more of that. Like, let's keep it simple. And so we actually track to ROI return on investment, not revenue, which is nice to inflate and be like, oh, we got you $1 million in revenue. What was that for gross margin? What it actually is worth to your business? I haven't seen anyone else out there that's really focused on this and driving. A lot of people
On the
want
end
to drive
result.
clicks or even just leads or impressions, and it's scary to try to promise revenue and ROI, because it's like that's what everyone wants. And it's like, well, yeah, if it was easy, then every business would just be huge, right? And so we're willing to tackle that big problem. We know we're not perfect at it, but we are driving at that. We've also been doing this for 15 years. We've been using the same proven methodology. We've generated over $200 million for our clients. We have a lot of proof behind us in, hey, we follow this system, it leads to this result. It's not guaranteed, it doesn't work every time, but we sure have found a good way to take you from A to B and then get you there faster.
Love it.
So there's
Love
my
it.
big right hook.
How'd that feel? Did you like that?
It was okay.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, but what I heard there was the, and this is good. This is good for all of us as business owners. Like, I think sometimes I'll close with this. When it comes to marketing, I think a lot of business owners feel good about marketing when they're checking boxes off. Well, we post every week. Well, we sent one printed letter out to our previous clients. That's smart. We do this. Hey, we got somebody doing some SEO. Hey, we do some paid ads. Like, we check boxes and we feel good about that, and we should. It means we're doing some stuff. But at the end of the day, what is the ROI? What are the results? And we need to be tracking that. We need to be measuring that, and make sure whoever, whether it's an in-house team member, whether it's an outside, company or agency helping you with this, continue as a business owner to push against. Okay, that's good that you check those boxes. Now, how's it actually working? What are the results on this? So that's what you emphasize there, and that's why people should go to builderfunnel.com and check you out.
I'll add one more thing too. Is I think
all right, just close this out because I'm getting hungry.
All right.
It's almost lunchtime, man.
I would say take a longer view with it too, as something like you're building this machine. Like, Kyle, how long have you been working on your podcast and your community? And
yeah, years and years,
right? And same with us. And like, probably in the first year, you didn't see the same result that you're seeing now, right? And so you get that compound. And I looked at our data, and I actually had ChatGPT help me with this because it was kind of like a complex thing to look at. And basically what we realized is the people that leave Builder Funnel, the number drops by more than double, like in half at 18 months. And if they make it to 18 months, they typically stay less than 2% leave after that. And so that told me a lot of things, which is like, hey, some of this is like, if you're new to marketing and you're building a machine off the ground, like that first, it's usually 9 to 18 months is kind of like when things start to kick in. And if you can make it into that range, you start to get some of those compounding effects. And that's when some of those deals are actually closing from the leads that you generated in the first 3 to 4 months. So it's just a friendly reminder that there's usually no quick wins. There's no magic bullet. I did give you the nice email, which is helpful. Sure. But you kind of, once you use that a few times, like you'll exhaust that, and you need a repeatable system. So
good.
Play the long game.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Spencer. Appreciate having you on. And we'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks.